Hello hunters, and welcome to this episode of Hunt Weapon Guides. Today we'll be looking at the Centennial M1876 and its variants. I want to start the video by saying thank you to all the viewers of my last guide on the Winfield M1873. You are what inspired such a swift follow-up to that video. Anyways, let's begin. I want to begin the video by saying that I personally didn't have the smoothest experience with the Centennial throughout my service, which by now has broken the 1000 hour milestone. I always avoided the Centennial because unlike another medium ammo rifle, drumroll please, the Vetterli, I never liked the feel of the Centennial with its slower fire rate and clunky feel, combined with a smaller ammo pool. So anyways, enough ranting from me and let's get to it. Let's begin with the basic Centennial. The base Centennial mostly excels at having a high base muzzle velocity of 600 meters per second and a high magazine capacity, and in return trades off damage per shot and fire rate, as well as its max ammo pool being smaller than other medium ammo rifles. That said, it can definitely prove its worth if you are considerate with your shots and make sure not to just blindly fire at your enemy. Let's go over the perks the Centennial benefits from. Firstly, there's the gold standard for most repeating rifles, Iron Eye. Iron Eye is a 3 skill point trait which increases the weapon's cycle speed while aimed down sights and allows you to stay in your sights during the operation of the repeating mechanism. Iron Eye is not a must, but will help make it sure that you get the max out of your aim down sight rate of fire to keep the pressure up and the enemy in cover. The other perk all lever action weapons benefit from is levering. This trait allows you to repeatedly operate your cocking lever in a faster pace while shooting from the hip, giving you better close quarter combat capability through its higher rate of fire, but limiting your accuracy with higher felt recoil and less precision due to it being done from the hip. Levering can really go both ways. Either you absolutely demolish your enemy, or you spam all your bullets and miss looking like an idiot in the process, so a bit of practice and luck is needed for the best effect. To wrap up the base Centennial, let's look at its custom ammos and their respective tactics. Let's begin with the Full Metal Jacket, or FMJ. This ammo type increases the damage drop-off of the Centennial, ensuring you do max damage for longer range and improving your damage over range as a whole. Its second ability is the increase in penetrating power, which makes it so that wallbangs are more reliable and doable even at range, ensuring soft to medium cover like fences and wood walls pose less of a challenge. It comes with a slower muzzle velocity due to the higher weight of the bullet. It should be used best at range and maybe close range for wallbangs. You usually play FMJ if you want to make sure that an enemy can't even hide behind thin cover, and usually avoid it if you have issues with lower velocity or ammo management. Next up is High Velocity. As the name implies, this ammo comes with extra muzzle velocity and extends the drop range by a bit. If you're wondering what drop range is the distance at which the projectile drops by one head height, 20 centimeters from your aim point. It does not give any extra wall penetration and suffers from a reduced ammo pool, losing out on 4 bullets and having higher recoil as well as a brighter muzzle flash, potentially making quick firing harder as well as more easily giving your position away. Unless you are pretty good at popping heads, I wouldn't use this ammo type except on potentially the Centennial Sniper, where headshots are easier at range and form the majority of your kills. High velocity really only benefits you at longer range, unless you seem to have an issue with hitting your shots when firing at the enemy and perhaps leading them at range. Now onto Poison Ammo. Poison Ammo has the advantage of being a great PvE tool except against the boss being the spider, and is good against most AI and most bosses, since it can be shot at immolators due to it breaking on impact, not piercing their skin. It also one-shots armors to the head and grunts overall. The main issue with Poison is its lack of wall penetration, since it does not allow you to finish off a hit opponent which is hiding behind even a thin wooden fence. Although its main role is as a suppressive tool to prevent healing enemies through any way, except Banish or the Rampage trait, which means that if hit, the enemy won't be able to heal for 10 to 15 seconds, which is either a great initiation of a push or for a quick finisher by a teammate, or throwables like a hive bomb or any of the explosive ones like dynamite, frag bomb, or even the small stalker beetle. Now for the final ammo type relevant for the base Centennial, DumDum. DumDum is a ammo which, similar to poison, has no wall penetration, but unlike poison also loses out on drop range and velocity in exchange for, in this case, heavy bleed, which combined with the Centennial's strong damage up close really puts some pressure on the enemy struck by it, since it not only makes the enemy have a sound of blood streaming on the floor like water from a shower, but also lowering their health if not stopped by either having Bloodless, which reduces the intensity and bleed speed, using a Vitality Shot, which cancels the bleed, or using a medkit to patch you up. It is possible to stop the bleeding without either, but it depends on the situation one is in and if you have time to heal afterwards. DumDum, if available, is the best close-range custom ammo for the Centennial, and should be used if desired. It is for these reasons above that acquiring the DumDum Ammo is almost impossible, since it was made scarce in Update 2.2, which means it can only be obtained via one of the on-mission custom ammo boxes found at a supply point, which combined with all the RNG makes it a rare find, but worth picking up, and you get the chance. The Centennial with DumDum and or poison should be used in an aggressive manner, since you don't get any wall penetration. The aggressiveness of your push and the ability to deny the enemy healing or apply pressure with the bleeding effect make sure that you can initiate a push much easier than if you would just normally hit them and they perhaps start healing with the regeneration shot. That said, it should not really be used at range where that pressure cannot be utilized, or the enemy may quickly flee into cover. Let's quickly talk about the Centennial Trauma. Almost all of the above applies to the Centennial Trauma, except the inclusion of a powerful blunt melee at the end of the buttstock, useful for taking out bosses, immolators and armors, as well as one-shotting players. You should use the following ammos with the base Seni and the Seni Trauma. Third place, Poison Ammo, for suppressing the enemy and preventing heals at the cost of any wall penetration. Second place for Normal Ammo, since it's the easiest to resupply and does the job well, not really sacrificing too much while being universally useful. Our honorable mention is for DumDum, since it's in my opinion the strongest custom ammo, but its RNG way of acquiring it and lack of wall pen make it only go to the honorable mention slot, otherwise it would be first. But finally, first place, FMJ. Since it improves wall penetration and the already decent range of the Centennial further, only trading ammo availability for some drop range and muzzle velocity, extending your range further, is quite useful. Next on the list is the Centennial Sniper. The Centennial Sniper is really good at its namesake, sniping. Its base velocity is great at 600 meters per second, and with high velocity it even hits 725 meters per second, putting it up there with the top sniper rifles from the long ammo category. It copies all of the base Centennial stats but throws on a scope, switching out Iron Eye for 2 needed perks. Scopesmith, which is the equivalent of Iron Eye, but just for aperture equipped and scoped weapons, allowing you to rechamber a new round faster while staying aimed in. And to fix the sway that stems from the higher magnification, Steady Aim, which decreases the time needed to steady your sight while standing still to around 3 seconds. Another way to enhance Steady Aim, or the overall steady even further, is to crouch, which also reduces weapon sway, like seen in the comparison before you. When it comes to ammo, I usually choose either default ammo for its availability, high velocity if I'm playing solo at range, or in rare cases FMJ, if I perhaps plan on wallbanging some more or going for longer range body shots. That wraps up the 3-slot full-length Senis, and now we get to the Centennial Shorties. The first on the list is the base Centennial Shorty, which, just like the Vandal in the last video, suffers from a magazine reduction to, in this case, to 6 rounds, a lower muzzle velocity of 540 meters per second, and a lower damage drop-off and drop range. This doesn't really affect it much though, since it is intended for budget medium loadouts using 2 shorty weapons, or as a secondary, for example a shotgun primary, or similar benefiting from the same custom ammo choices as the base Centennial, being Poison, DumDum if available, and FMJ, or just sticking to the good old default ammo. Next up is the Centennial Shorty silencer, identical to the normal Shorty in most ways, except a 10 meter shorter drop-off range, lower muzzle velocity and drop range due to the addition of the silencer. While this may sound discouraging to some, it is tailored towards the closer range, meaning you should be able to compensate its lack of range, plus its still relatively high velocity allows you to reliably use the 4 before mentioned ammos, and for real ninjas there is even the last ammo type I intentionally left out so far, subsonic ammo. Subsonic ammo reduces the muzzle velocity greatly, which is a big trade-off, but also quite shot down to the point where they cannot be heard anymore from any range beyond 50 meters, which is very powerful. To compensate for the lower muzzle velocity, you're also given more rounds to carry. While it may sound appealing at first, I personally would choose any of the other ammos over it, since they usually take smaller trade-offs for equally good buffs, and while the insane stealth is nice, having a reliable plan B outside stealth is better, and that is where all the other ammos prove their worth. The only other ammo not worth using is high velocity, due to the reintroduction of the muzzle flash and the increase in the volume of your gunshots. Otherwise, all other ammo types besides subsonic and high velocity are worth a try to see which suits you best. Finally, the Centennial Pointman, or as I call it by now, the Pocket Sniper. It has a shorter range marksman scope, but mostly holds the same stats as the base Shorty. I'd personally only really consider FMJ or high velo and use this gun as a medium secondary for short range loadouts like shotguns and bow/crossbow weapons or double medium loadouts. Now for a small summary of each weapon. The Centennial and its base configuration does best at medium range using FMJ and normal ammo. Perhaps some DumDum or poison ammo if available. The Centennial in its config is best suited as a support player in second line, using your velocity to contest enemies at mid-range or even long range, and countering enemy pushes with DumDum or poison to prevent them from getting close. The Centennial Trauma can work well in close range and medium range, using DumDum or poison as well as the levering perk to push enemies back. If things get close, you can use your stock-mounted melee as a last resort to kill a charging player or somebody that is hiding behind a corner that can't take you out in one go. The Centennial Sniper is best used from the last line of the team or as a starter to a fight by taking out people at long range or who are pinned down in open fields or similar by using its scope, and when in urban combat or on the defense, using a position from deep inside a room to conceal its presence and lower the chance of being spotted or taken out. The normal Centennial Shorty can be used as a medium range secondary to short range loadouts like bows, crossbows and shotguns to bridge the gap between you and your enemy's weapon. The silencer focuses on a more stealthy close-range approach by using poison, FMJ or subsonic ammo to be relatively hard to spot and to cause havoc amongst enemy teams as they scramble to find your location. The Pointman is a range extension of the base Shorty, allowing you to use both the Centennial Sniper tactics to support your team, but also allowing you to bring a close-range weapon in case your team needs to push into a compound or a close-range environment. That's it, and thank you for watching. The next weapon on the list is the Marathon Compact Rifle. If you enjoyed the video, consider subscribing for more guides to come, and leave a like to show your support for the series. Have a nice day.